But we're now going to get to the police state updates. Questioning awakenings, where we first note, by way of Washington's blog, and as well on Global Research, they assert it as a statement. I put the question mark, because I don't know. Are people awake and awakening to this fast enough as the window kind of slams shut? And again, I'm not one of these guys who's going to get up and yell, but, oh, you're sheeple, you're stupid. I want to think that people can be the change they want to see in the world, and that's what we're trying to do here. But are the powers that be terrified of a mass worldwide awakening? The new massive article from Andrew Gavin Mitchell, The Global Political Awakening and the New World Order, the Technological Revolution and the Future of Freedom, Part 1. This first part basically goes into a lot of the recent quotes, some of which we've played for you, from the string puller of Puppet Obama, Zbigniew Brzezinski. And it starts with a quote that we just hit a few weeks ago from a recent Brzezinski speech. For the first time in history, almost all of humanity is politically activated, politically conscious, and politically interactive. Global activism is generating a surge in the quest for cultural respect and economic opportunity in a world scarred by memories of colonial or imperial domination. The resulting global political activism is generating a surge in the quest for personal dignity, cultural respect, and economic opportunity in a world painfully scarred by memories of centuries-long alien colonial or imperial domination. The politics of populism are transforming the politics of power. That awakening is socially massive and politically radicalizing. These energies transcend sovereign borders and pose a challenge both to existing states as well as to the existing global hierarchy on top of which America still perches. Those are all quotes from Brzezinski, and again, in this massive article from Andrew Marshall. We ask, are the elite panicking? We know they wanted to pull the rug out. We know they want to burn the joint down and collect the insurance. But is the fire now raging out of control and they're now elbowing each other out of the way, trying to get to the exit? There's a lot of signs pointing to both ways. And again, I don't really subscribe to the single unified field conspiracy theory. There's one group behind everything. Again, Richard Grove says more like multi-generational serial killers. And they're gangsters. And they battle each other sometimes. They gotta bump each other off. And a lot of people get burned. But again, through this fake political paradigm, the same agendas keep going forward. They put up the puppets, they put up the shadows up on the wall, and we think that's all real. I can be guilty of it myself. And again, I just, like I say, I want to be humble in this. Not be all high and mighty, like I've got everything figured out. I like to think we're trying to go through all this together. Supreme Court says states must honor gun rights. My friends, Supreme Court been quite on the tear. Some good, some bad. HLSwatch.com, that's Homeland Security Watch, asks the question, does the U.S. have any domestic terror groups? And on the speculative note, and again, we like to cover and touch on these things that are in the predictive programming, Mockingbird, media, echo chamber. There's a piece up on beforeitsnews.com asking, will Washington, D.C. be nuked on July 4th? And they go through laying out all the predictive programming before 9/11, in the media, in the zeitgeist, and go on to talk about all the instances, both years old and very recent, all containing plots about a nuke attack, July 4th, Washington, D.C. Movies like Independence Day, X-Files Fight the Future movie, War of the Worlds, Southland Tales, Live Free or Die Hard, which I think is the fourth one, Shutter Island, MacGruber, Jonah Hex, which just opened, and more in X-Files on TV and The Simpsons and Lie to Me. History Channel ran a documentary called Day After Disaster, which goes into detail about what kind of effect a nuclear bomb detonation would have on Washington, D.C. And I always, when we start to get into this kind of realm, I always mention that video game trailer for Shattered Union that lays out a possibly eerily precise version of possible future histories. And again, the drills are always going on. They can be bootlegged. They can flip live with patsies and moles and rogue networks inside the intelligence agencies and private military contractors. We're putting these things on the record. We don't want to be always screaming that martial law is coming tomorrow, which again I think I've referenced recently in my interview with Michael Tessarian, or at least in his talk at the recent conspiracy conference, that as you're starting to get into this information and it starts to pile up and wash over you, your inclination is that, oh shit, it's all going down tomorrow. But what it seems to be is the slow, incremental frog boil. They slowly turn up the heat, and before we know it, they came for you, and there wasn't anyone left to defend you. Mark Dice, love him or hate him, he knows how to do what he does in the media monkey wrenching. A recent video running around, I believe he's in Southern California, knowing that Americans don't know why we celebrate 4th of July, basically asking folks on the street and giving them misleading information that they nod their heads along to. Not unlike a Jay Leno talking to foolish people on the street that is really embarrassing. Dozens of U.S. citizens... Oh, wait. Before that, as we're talking about all of this speculative nuke attacks, predictive programming, martial law, neithercore.us asks, what would life be like under martial law? This all ties in with the threataganda. But what I was going to say, by way of raw story, dozens of U.S. citizens on assassination list, White House advisor hints, when it was confirmed last winter by then Director of National Intelligence Dennis Blair, which we went over on KUFO with Clyde Lewis and Alex Ansary, that the Obama administration had authorized the assassination of American citizens working with terrorist groups overseas. It appeared that no more than 3 Americans were being targeted in this manner. But in an interview last week with the Washington Times, however, Deputy White House National Security Advisor for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism, John O. Brennan, suggested that the number might actually amount to dozens. There are, in my mind, dozens of U.S. persons who are in different parts of the world, and they are very concerning to us. Not just because of the passport they hold, but because they understand our operational environment here. They bring with them certain skills, whether it be language skills or familiarity with potential targets, and they're very worrisome, and we are determined to take away their ability to assist with terror attacks. And we always seem to find the intelligence fingerprints all over these guys whenever we have a underpants bomber or Times Square time bomb or Fort Hood shooting or any of the wave of suspicious homegrown errorism that we've seen going on.